We started dating in high school as we worked together at Best Buy.
He was the only person that I knew there. He's the only person my age that even worked there, and so I naturally gravitated towards him, and then things just kind of started slowly but surely. He was so nervous, but I kind of just let go of that whole stigma of, oh, let him make the first move, let him do this, that, and the other thing, because he made it blatantly obvious that he was interested. He just had no idea how to start.
Being close to each other every day, we kind of became really close, and once it became real serious, that's when I knew that, I didn't want to go anywhere. I was in it for the long haul at that point, and I just liked who I was around her, and she really made me feel like a special person in her life too.
Our first date, well, there were kind of two different events. The first one, the first official date, was he picked me up in his mom's minivan, but that was like the running joke. Everyone knew that Matt drove the minivan, and that was the funny part. So he drove up the driveway, and I was like, oh my God. I guess we're going off in the minivan. And so we go down, we went down towards the Plymouth waterfront, and we just like walked on the beach, and we went and we grabbed dinner. I have no idea where we went to dinner. I'm pretty sure it was either Mamma Mia's or Wood Seafood. It was one of those places. But yeah, so we went and had dinner, and we just walked the beach, and it was just one of those, we felt so comfortable together, and it was so nice and so important, and that was kind of literally the first date was like, oh, I'm in trouble. This could really be important. This could be a big thing for me.
My first thought of Kristen was how beautiful she was and how nice she was. We got along so well. We were always friends, but not really close. Once we became close, I really saw her inner beauty and how nice she was to everyone, not just people she knew. She never really had problems with anyone. Mm-hmm. And from then on, we were inseparable. We had dates, we had lunch, we had all kinds of things. Turn around a few months later, and she left for college. She went to North Carolina. And I was still working at the time at Best Buy, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to join the military. So in that year or so of our separation, we decided that we were going to stay together, and I was going to enlist in the Air Force, and she was going to continue with school.
Distance was kind of the starter of that whole thing. It's hard to be so far away from each other. It was what, 800 miles?
Yeah. It
was a long distance. Mm-hmm. We only saw each other maybe 3 times a year. Yeah. So it was hard. I was struggling with some inner demons, but he was always that person that kind of kept me grounded. It would have been so easy for him to say, gosh, she's nuts and she's 800 miles away. I'm walking away. But he didn't. For some reason you decided I was worth it. So you stuck around, and our relationship got stronger than ever. It really did. And then I think when we both noticed it was as real as it was when my dad passed away. And you really were my rock. And not even just me, God, my whole family. He was there for everybody. He was the rock that kept us all, he was the glue that kept us all together. He really was. He was there for Brooke. He was there for Mom. He was that man that would show up in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, and just give you that giant bear hug that you didn't know you needed at the time. And no one was as humble about it as he was. No one could have ever been as humble about it as he was. He didn't think he was doing anything special. He was just there. And that's when extended family all kind of noticed him and was like, oh, this is legit. This is actually serious. And we were 19, and everyone was looking at us like, oh God, they're only 19, but this was intense. It was a lot. And then everything kind of fell together.
Yeah.
Then I came to Nebraska.
You moved out here?
Then I moved out to Nebraska.
Yep. 3 things I absolutely love about Kristen are her personality, her honesty, and her trustworthiness.
I think the biggest thing that I love about Matt is his commitment to whatever he's doing. Whether it's to me, it's been unwavering to me. Whether it's to his job and what he's doing, or to his country even. I mean, the commitment that he's shown since being in the United States military has been, I am so proud of him for what he's doing, and for what he's been able to do over his enlistment period. I don't think I ever noticed really what it entailed and the life that he was living until I moved out here and I saw his job and living on base, but the pride in his work and the commitment that he shows. So I guess that would be the second thing, would be his pride. He's so proud of what he does, and he puts his whole heart into everything so that he can be proud of it and then he can have the pride in it. He is a perfectionist to some extent because of that, and it shows tenfold. And then, what was the last thing that I love about him the most? Oh gosh. Probably, I'd say his honesty. That man, I don't think has lied to me a day in his life. And he just makes it known that there's no reason to. He lives a life that he wouldn't need to lie about, and that's something to be proud of even more.
As a couple, some values that I believe in are trustworthiness and communication. Being able to be open and honest with each other is a big thing for me. Never really having to question what they say, and always knowing that she's not going to be deceitful or try to make things easier on me by lying.
Values as a couple to me, honesty, 100%. The two of us have been honest with each other when it gets hard. It's one of those, we really have shown each other how much we mean to each other, just because it is easier sometimes to bluff and say, oh, this didn't happen or that didn't happen. And that was when we really started to notice how serious it was when we would be honest with each other. We would say the hard stuff and then we would work on it from there, as opposed to giving up and walking away and saying, oh, I don't want to deal with that, which kind of goes into my second value, which would be commitment to each other. We are 100% wholeheartedly committed to one another, and that has just shown through our relationship time and time again. The commitment that he shows me even when I might not necessarily deserve it, I guess. Not isn't the right word, but if I make it hard for him to want to stick around, and he just never even questions it. So yeah, I think honesty and commitment to one another.
Who said I love you first?
Me.
Her.
100, I mean, that was he wanted to say it so bad, and it was so obvious how bad he wanted to say it, but he was a nervous wreck.
Yep.
And that was one of those things that I was like, I know it, I feel it, he knows it, I know he does, so I'm just gonna say it. And we were leaving.
You dropped me off at my truck.
I dropped you off at the truck.
At the mall.
And he's like closing the door, and I kind of turned around and I was like, wait, hold on a minute. So he rolled his window down and he's looking at me, and I was like, I love you. And he goes, and you could see just this relief like wash over him, because he was like, oh my God, I don't have to say it first. And he looks at me and he goes, I love you too. That was the funniest thing. You did not want to say it. You were so nervous.
Yeah, I was very nervous.
As soon as I did, it was like the floodgates opened though. Yep. He was like, thank God.
Mm-hmm. We've been living together for just over 2 years now,
yep.
Right? Things have been great. I mean, we always knew it would be okay, but we didn't realize it would be this good. And
there have been some tough parts.
There's been some tough times, but
it's been great. It's been really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, anybody that's lived with a significant other will attest to the sense of it is not easy to share a home with somebody.
Yeah.
You make it a home. It is the most comfortable place in the world, but when someone's always there,
yeah.
You learn a lot about them that you didn't necessarily know before, even if you had been together for 4 years prior. I mean, I didn't know that he did certain things and he didn't know that I did certain things, but it works so well. And his quirks complement mine, and they work together.
Yeah.
And then we brought a dog into the house. And he is the best dog dad, except for when he doesn't want to get out of bed at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, he's the best dog dad in the world. And it has just made us both so excited to really build our family even more and really establish our home outside of where the military tells us where to go.
How did the proposal happen?
We love to take drives through the country, so we hopped in my truck one morning, and I've been thinking about this for years. And I finally got the courage to say, hey, let's go. And we were driving down this dirt road in the middle of Bellevue, and I pull over on the side of the road at this unknown man's farm, and I was like, let's go take a walk. So we
Which
hop.
he had never done before.
No.
So I saw this coming a mile away.
So we hop out of my truck, and we're walking through this guy's cornfield, and all of a sudden I just got the courage and dropped down on one knee, and I just started talking, couldn't stop. And I told her how much I loved her, how much she meant to me. And thankfully, she said yes.
What was I wearing? A sweatshirt and yoga pants.
Yep, a hoodie and yoga pants. And I was in sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
Yep.
One thing that drives me nuts is she's always late.
Always.
Late to everything.
Always.
She'd be late to her own funeral. And it's kind of giving me patience because I have to sit there in my truck and wait and wait and wait. But we get there eventually, whether it's on time or not.
It's never on time. No. It's never on time. God, he is stubborn. He is so stubborn, and he'll walk away. And that's like the biggest thing. It's not like in a rage, like he'll huff and puff away. He'll go, yep, this is how we're doing it, and then walk away. Like he doesn't even give me an option to say, oh, but no, it's yep, we're doing this. Something as simple as, okay, we're driving my truck, not your car. And then, or as simple as, hey, can you take the dogs out? Nope. Walk away. And then he's just not going to do it. And so it's okay, fine. I guess I'll he's stubborn. I think in 5 years, we're gonna be working professionals.
Yep.
Hopefully. Matt's gonna be in some sort of law enforcement, but working with conservation.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up, not so much with criminals in that sense, but more in environmental.
Yep.
I want to be working in the hospital. I love the hospital. I've always loved the hospital. So going through school, continuing my education, even past my current degree, and just continuing that, just to work with patients and give back in that sense. Hopefully, having built a house, that's a real goal.
Yep.
We want to build a house. We want all of our family to be able to come over. We want Christmas at our place. We want Thanksgiving at our place. Matt wants to cook Thanksgiving for everybody.
Yes.
Again.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing, is just creating a home for our whole family to come and visit.
Backyard barbecues.
Backyard barbecues.
Yep.
Yes, we have our barbecue crew, and we can't wait to put those into effect. Where do you want to be in 5 years?
Right there.
Right there next.
Right there next to you. Doesn't matter where.
Yeah, Massachusetts would be great, but you never know. We might turn into gypsies. We might end up somewhere else.
Yep.
I think in 20 years, looking back on this video and seeing the life that we're living now, I really will miss the simplicity of it. I mean, we have the dogs, but we don't have children. We don't have any really of those worries. It's just simple. We have each other. We have what we need. We have jobs.
Close friends.
A roof over our head. So yeah, I think really the simplicity of it in our early 20s is going to be missed 20 years from now. But yeah, that's, I mean, the close friends that we have, the relationships that we have, which we'll hopefully have 20 years from now. We have every intention of keeping them for that long. But yeah, I think really the biggest thing is just the simplicity of life that we live now.